All right, let me just hop on over to our live stream.
There we go.
I have
And
it up on my computer over here too, so I
oh, good, good.
watch
Yeah,
it at the same time.
I always tell Debbie to do that because I'm like, I want to make
What?
sure it's streaming.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know.
blame you. I
Yes,
mean,
yeah,
it's hard to look at two things at once. It really is.
yeah,
And Facebook can be kind of wonky. So,
yeah, we agree.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Been there,
mhm.
done that.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Page.
All right, so we're gonna start with, we've gotten feedback from a lot of our guests that they really enjoy just like we've almost had more conversations, meaningful, not meaningful, but more like extended conversations off camera.
Mm,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So we would be done with recording and all of a sudden we would have a whole nother conversation that would another half hour after recording and a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So we're just
very cool.
from the
It's
beginning.
your behind the scenes. You can,
Yes,
right, say people like this is what goes on when we're not recording,
that's right.
Absolutely.
right?
Yes,
Well, we are
exactly.
recording and we're letting people know our little secret. So, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Excellent.
All right. Well, welcome to everyone who's going to be tuning in
Mm-hmm.
today or even
Mhm.
after today. Welcome to Laugh Lines and Turbulence, where we promote women 50 plus and who are living life through inspiration and humor and doing amazing things on our planet. And tonight we have Stacey Wilk. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you guys. Thanks for
So
having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, glad to have you. So, Debbie will go ahead and read your bio, and then we'll go ahead and move forward, and you can tell us all the stuff.
Whatever you want to know.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Stacey. So Stacey is a best-selling and award-winning author, writes romance that hooks your heart and soul. She published her first novel in 2013. Since then, she's published another 28. So women everywhere can slow down and indulge. They certainly deserve it. When she isn't writing, she takes long walks or curls up with a cup of tea and a good book by a favorite author. To see what she writes next, follow her on Facebook and for her amazing readers, Stacey's novel Family, and then we're gonna add those links onto our our
Host.
YouTubes and our Facebooks and all that stuff. So we're definitely gonna add all of your links, Stacey.
Thank you.
Um, and we are so happy to have you here. And then I'm just looking some more through your bio, and I love everything that you've written, and I just can't we just can't wait to talk to you. So
Thank you. I'm so
welcome.
excited. Okay. So, you guys, you want to ask me first? What do you want?
Yeah.
Go
Well,
So
ahead.
yeah,
tell us about your journey. Like
yes.
50, like you start in 50s. Tell us about your journey in 50 plus and how your life has changed since you turned 50.
Okay. Okay. So my writing journey began way before I was 50. I always wanted to be an author. I wrote my first novel at 12 on a typewriter. So you definitely know I'm in my 50s. Uh, I still have it, in fact.
Love it.
Keep it. Irma Bombeck's is still, it's like they use it in her little museum thing.
Oh,
So keep your
okay. There we
typewriter.
go. There we go. Someday there'll be a Stacey Wilk museum. Ha ha.
Right.
And I know it'll be there. It'll be
It
there
will.
on old yellow typing paper. Um, so yeah, okay. So it wasn't until I was 34 when I finally decided to take my writing seriously. I went off to college and needed a real job, and I had two small children at the time, and I thought, oh my God, time is flying, and if I don't start taking myself seriously, I never will. So that's when I started taking my writing seriously. That was in 2004. It took me until 2013 to be published. So what is that, 9 years? I can't do math. I can write books. I can't do
That's
math.
right.
I just published my 30th book in March, and my 31st book will be out on the 30th of this month. So that's sort of my writing timeline. But turning 50, I felt like I don't know, do you guys feel this way too? Like this sense of calm that was not there 30 years ago, and this like, I don't know, I'm in this place where I just want to live life to the fullest and live in the present moment, something I
Yes.
certainly couldn't have done in my 20s,
Mhm.
and follow my dream. That's what I want every woman to do, is to follow that thing in her heart at
Yes.
any age. It doesn't matter, but sometimes I think we have to be in our 50s before we understand that we
Mhm.
should follow our hearts. I don't know if that, wisdom, the whole wisdom thing.
I think there's a shift that happens around 50.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
some type of shift.
Yeah,
And
perimenopause.
yeah, menopause, yeah. A lot of things are shifting around.
Exactly. There's a lot of moving.
But I definitely I had some sort of like some type of like shift that happened inside me around
Mhm.
just before I turned 50. And I was looking at the books that you recommended on your list, and I accidentally found those around 49, and they changed my life. Was the Four Agreements and anything, and the books by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Right?
Yes,
Total life changer. And
totally life changing.
total, exactly. And I was in my 40s then too when I
Yeah.
started finding all the self-help
Yeah.
books. And I was in my 30s when I found yoga, which was a
Hmm.
huge help, to learn to maybe not be as judgmental of
Yes.
myself, which again, I think I needed to be in my 50s before I really got it. Though I'll
Yes.
be honest, there were days, because again, menopause,
Yes.
where I am a judgmental of my body. I'm like, what is happening? What is this chaos that is now my existence?
Just Gina had a lot of chaos last night too.
I started a CPAP last night,
Oh,
Stacy,
okay.
and I did not sleep. So like the goal, I think, is to get better sleep.
Yes.
And I was getting great sleep. My husband wasn't, but
Okay.
I did not sleep. And so here's me on no sleep.
Well, you're gorgeous on no sleep, so God bless.
It's crazy. Yeah, I put a lot of cake on.
Thank God for lighting.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so many changes.
So many
Yes,
changes,
You
yeah.
guys are so
so
right.
many
But
changes.
there are changes physically, mentally, spiritually,
Yes,
emotionally.
yes, all of it,
And I think
all
I'm
of it.
actually like I think one of the two things happens is either you're gonna follow it and then
Mhm.
see where it leads you. Like I had it like a major crisis happening, and I accidentally found the Four Agreements and
Okay.
Eckhart Tolle, which saved my life.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, all right, the whole thing about surrender, and then what are you gonna do with that?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Either resistance, surrender or resistance, one of the two things. And surrender is definitely a better option.
I totally agree. And I had to learn too the hard way that all the worrying in the world, you
Yeah.
said crisis, Debbie, and it made me think, raising teenagers,
Yeah.
that are thankfully not teenagers anymore. But
Yes.
but in that like in those difficult times of learning that all the worrying in the world doesn't stop bad things from happening.
Right.
So you might as well forget it.
Hmm.
I can't save my children from themselves, which
Oh,
means, right, I
yes.
can't save anybody from themselves. So to
Mhm.
learn that the only thing I can control is my reaction, which was also like a 50 plus
Yeah.
aha moment.
Yes.
It's been so freeing to know that whatever your reaction is, even if it's to me, is on you, not my
Right.
responsibility.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I was like this, the clouds parted and the sun shone for the first time. So,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. When you
yeah.
realize that everyone's stuff is not your stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Like, not my
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly. Not
Not
mine.
my stuff, man. I'm
Not my
telling you.
stuff. I'm out.
You have fun with
I
that.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You go do
Even
you.
even at my job, when people get really upset with,
Yeah.
I'm a flight attendant, and,
Yeah.
and when all my other fellow flight attendants get really upset what people are doing, I'm like, hey, it's not even your stuff. I'm
Exactly.
like, I tap out. I'm done. I don't care.
Exactly. It's a literal this out.
Done. Like at the
done.
end of blackjack, you know how they're
Yes.
done with the deal at the end of black. That's what I usually do. I'm like, listen, I'm out.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that is so freeing. And I wish that for everyone too, especially women, because
Yes.
I see it with my friends and colleagues, the worry, 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 and oh my God, my kids, and what are they going to do? And you're running after them with a pillow. And it's like, you know what will be,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
obviously don't want anything bad to happen to anyone ever,
Right.
but you cannot control it. And all that worrying doesn't stop it from happening.
No.
So
Right.
put your energy into the present moment, Eckhart Tolle, right?
Love, I
Right?
love.
Be present. And that's where
Yeah.
your peace is, in the present.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love when Eckhart, I love watching Eckhart Tolle. Like he's funny. He's hilarious. Eckhart Tolle's hilarious. And it's so funny when he like talks to people and he talks about the present moment and everything. And really you just feel so relaxed watching it. And like he really makes the simplest things look so magical.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He's so
magical. Just the simplest
calming.
things.
But it's so true
Yeah.
though, right? Isn't the magic in the simplicity of it?
Yes.
Right, all that twisting we do. And I love that line. It's from an Eagles song, and it's one of the ones that Glenn Fry sings.
Uh-huh.
And the line is, we live our lives in chains and never even know we have the key.
Mhm.
And I
I
love
got
that.
chills. I love that. That's
Right? I love
great.
that so
Mhm.
much because
Yes.
it's getting caught up in what's not simple. If we just get it down to simple,
Yeah.
we could be so much happier and at peace and get along with each other better,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
not sweat the small stuff. I mean, because it really
Yeah.
is all the small stuff, unless you're
Yes.
saving a life, does it really matter? You know what I mean? It'll work
True.
itself
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes,
Well,
and
and
that
I
was
think
not something I understood 30 years ago, believe me.
right. Well, and I
Right.
think the beautiful thing of not following the kids with the pillow or whatever is like we walked our journey and we want to save them from getting hurt or making the same mistakes that we
Mhm.
made or
Mhm.
what save them from whatever it is.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Yes.
But the thing is that's where the learning is and that's where our growth
Yeah.
is from
Yes.
those things that we experience in life. So
Yes.
Debbie uses the phrase stay on your own page.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so true. That is where all the learning comes. So if you don't make mistakes, or if you don't have, I don't know, learning opportunities, then how do you grow as a person?
Yes.
And how do you develop problem solving skills? And how do you develop coping skills if you don't have to deal with some adversity? And obviously, again, we don't want it to be horrible, traumatic. We're not even talking about that. But you know what? Let your kid go talk to their teacher on their own.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Can I do an aside here? Since we're talking about parenting and children, I had a friend tell me that she had someone at her job have to call her, she's in human resources, about health benefits. And the girl that had to call had her parents on the phone with her. And I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's a generational thing. I do blame the Gen Xers. I do. I don't know what happened to us
We
because,
overcompensated.
yeah, we
I think it's
overcompensated.
overcome because being a Gen X, and you're right. We have, we're to blame for a lot of stuff
Yeah,
because we were so left alone. I was a latchkey kid,
sure.
and I've had like weird things happen walking home from school or,
Yeah, yeah,
I've had some scary stuff happen as a child.
sure.
And I think, and my parents were from Eastern Europe, so they were very naive about a lot of things,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And so I think as a Gen X parent, we overcompensated. We're like,
Yes.
my parents are never there. I'm gonna be a helicopter parent. My parent
Mhm.
was, I was a latchkey kid. Nope, my kid, I'm gonna know everything my kid's doing, and so I think we overcompensate with what we're
Yeah, I
missing.
think so too. I think with a broad stroke, because obviously
Yep.
this isn't every parent,
Right,
but
right.
with a broad stroke over the generation of us,
Yes.
that we did overcompensate because of all of those things. You know,
Yes.
you walked yourself home from the bus stop. Nobody
Yep.
knew if you got in the house or not. Right, you left in the morning on your bicycle and you came back when the street lights came on and
Oh my goodness, yes.
right. But
Yes, go ahead.
yeah.
So true.
Yes. Yes. And that was good too, to a point, right? Like it wasn't all bad
Yeah.
to
No.
have been given some independence. So
Mhm.
you know, I know my husband and I certainly overindulged our children, but I do say on many occasions, thank God we didn't do it as bad as some of the things I've witnessed.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree. And then now it's you have to make a conscious effort. Like even now, my kids are 25 and 27, and I'm literally in the room, like in my daughter just moved out for the second time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is my office now. But I have to
Yeah.
make a conscious, like, don't overdo it. Don't, drown her. Don't
Yeah.
give her some space.
Yeah.
You have to give them space.
You do have to give them a lot of space.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I said, with some of the things that we went through as a family, I definitely learned they need to go do, they need to make mistakes.
Yes.
Right. And that all my worrying will not stop bad things from happening. And when that moment happened in my head, I really took a big step back as the mom watching everything. And I wish I had figured it out sooner than I did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like now that my kids are grown ups, because they're almost 25 and 23, and they are
Yes.
both living at home because my son's in grad school, my daughter's about to go off to grad school, but she's going to live at home and commute.
Mhm.
So, um, I very much feel like you have to make your decisions. I'm here for advice. If you say, this is what I'm thinking, what do you
Yeah.
think? Whether
Right.
I agree with it or not is not
Right.
my choice to make. I already did those ages and I already made my mistakes. And I
Mhm.
could preach until, I turn blue in the face, and it doesn't mean you're going to listen to me anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd rather they learn to trust their gut, because that's another thing I
Yes.
think comes with wisdom and time, is learning to trust your gut.
Yes.
Yes.
So I want them to know how to do that way sooner than I did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Way soon. And you know why I didn't for so long? Because my mother, even though she was a boomer, was on top of everything. And anytime you did something, she was like, why are you doing that? Why would you do that? Don't do
Yeah.
that. Do this. No, that's not a good idea. So it took me forever to like get that noise out of my head.
Yes.
Didn't want that noise in their head.
No.
So
And
you
you
know what?
doubted yourself.
Yes.
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 Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my
Yes.
parents did that too because they were from Eastern Europe, and and even though they worked, I was latchkey. My parents still were like, why are you choosing this as a career? That's not going to make as
Yes.
much money as this is. So you always second guessed yourself.
100%. And
Yeah.
like you, I'm only a second generation American, and my Italian off the boat grandparents lived with us.
Mm.
So it was very old fashioned and very traditional. And even
Yes.
though we were encouraged to go to college, it was more like you can go to college till you get married, go to college, get a job until you get married and have
Yeah.
babies. It was,
Right.
and so my mother, being the way that she is, was like you're saying, made me second guess everything. And
Mhm.
so what if I was wrong, right? I think that's something else we have to learn. So what if you're wrong? Who
Mhm.
cares? You
Yeah.
made a mistake, big deal. We're human before we're anything else. Moms, wives, sisters, aunts, the boss, the assistant, whatever we are, we're human first.
Yeah.
And it's okay to make mistakes because that's what humans do. We mess it
Yeah.
up. So what?
Mhm.
Now, let me tell you, have this conversation with me 10 years ago, I would never have been able to say that. That's another
Correct.
thing about being in my 50s, is I really get it now. I really
Yes.
get it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing too is that I think people need to understand, or women, when of course you talk to someone who's younger, their 20s or 30s or whatever, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Is that, well, you never stop evolve. I was just telling somebody else the other day, with some other person at work, and I'm like, the one thing I realized at this age is you never stop evolving. You're
Yes.
never done. Like,
Yeah.
meaning you're never like, okay,
Oh.
now at age 51 or whatever you are, I'm a complete person. I've done all the work. But no, you're never
No.
done doing the work. You're never done evolving.
Right.
I think differently and see things differently than I did at my 40-year-old self, my 30-year-old self, my 20-year-old self,
Mhm.
and my 60-year-old self. I
Yes.
can't wait for her to tell me what the hell I did wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. Girl, what have you been doing?
I get, yeah, I'm like
Yes.
expecting like a Back of the Future, like the 60-year-old me to come back and say, listen, you think you got it all now? Just
Exactly.
wait.
You just wait.
Just
Wait till you
wait.
see what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait till you get here.
Exactly. Wait till you get here. It's crazy. You're swinging from ceilings all
I-
over again.
I'm thinking Bill and Ted's actually, but it's kind of the same thing.
You said what? What'd you say?
Bill and Ted's Excellent
Oh my
Adventure.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like yeah, I know. What a ride. Yeah. I can't even imagine like my future self coming back and I'm like, oh my God, we still got more to do.
Yeah. But you're
We're
right
doing this
though.
again.
Yeah. And you should be evolving. If you're not
Mhm.
evolving, I'm a little worried about you
Oh,
because,
great.
Very true.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I think you should always try to show up as the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
which
Mm,
isn't
I love that.
perfection, right? It's just the best version of you at
Yep.
that time. And
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
When you know better, you do better. Oprah. Yeah. So do
That's-
you guys find yourselves learning new things with the podcast and your guests and
Oh
Oh
yeah.
gosh, I'll
Yes.
speak to that. I think, well, the podcast is always learning, and especially with us, it's technology. So that's been the fun part. I'll just
Yeah.
say it's fun.
That's our life's lesson. It's
That's right. It's our
technology.
life lesson.
I like that adjective.
But our guests have been so amazing and just what they bring to our world. And I think the way I've presented this to people is, you watch the news, you see what celebrities are doing, some are doing great things, but you get this highlight of all these neat things that they're doing, right? Or
Yeah.
even like, the biggest scholars of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are amazing women doing things in our world who don't hit those
Right.
big news channels or whatever. And that's what we really wanted to do, is bring light
I love
to
that.
things.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, I love
I
that.
have been, my opinion, I've been so pleasantly surprised
Yes.
and thrilled by the people we've interviewed. So
Yes.
Awesome.
They've been
That-
extremely inspirational.
mhm.
I just, yeah,
Abby and I
I'm
are
just,
like, huh, we're not doing much, are we?
I, I'm
No, that's not
floored. I'm
true.
really floored and so inspired. And whenever we talk to somebody, it's every time I'll run downstairs and, or tell a friend or tell my husband, I'm like, you're not going to believe this. This lady, she's 50 something and she's doing this and this and this. And it's just, it's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And I think that now it just keeps us going.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
I love that. I love seeing people accomplish their goals
Yes.
and chasing their dreams. I'm always trying to tell people to do it. Like there's never going to be a right time. It's never going to be perfect. It's definitely going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of work, and there will be days when you think you're out of your mind, but but if it's in your heart, you really need to go for it because you don't know how much time you have on this earth, and you
Yeah.
should take advantage of every day that you're given. And if you're not doing things that bring joy to you, why are you doing them?
Right.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
also unapologetically, meaning
Yes.
that, if this is what you want to do, that, it's nobody's business. And
Exactly.
who gives a crap what they think too?
Exactly.
And I think, yeah, even when I started kind of like, hey, I think I'm going to start a podcast, and you get some of those like, oh, really? Like, what is it going to be about? What are you
Yeah.
going to talk about?
Yeah.
And it's doing what you want to do and not giving a you know what anybody else thinks.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Because there's always going to be someone who's going to
Yeah.
look down their nose at you. And
Yes.
maybe it's because they're jealous because
Yeah.
you're doing something that they have secretly wanted to do and are
Yeah.
too afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And right. And I don't know about you guys, but I still get afraid doing writing and putting it in front of readers. And, is this going to be the book that they hate this time? And, right. And yet you do it anyway. And I had
Mhm.
somebody say to me once, it's not like you have a real job. So I was like, ooh, ouch. So that's okay though. I just
Don't
kept
you want to bring
writing.
them on your journey of writing though? Because I've got 2 books out myself and it's like,
Oh,
really?
right. They're like,
The hours
you?
that you pour into, they would be
Mhm.
seen.
Yes, because
Mhm.
and I've had people say to me, "Oh, how hard can it be to write a book?" Well, have you sat down to do it? Because I'll tell you how hard it is.
Very hard.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And so, congratulations, Gina, on having
Yeah,
out two
thank
books. That's
you. Thank you.
fabulous.
Yeah.
She's so
Um,
inspirational, Gina, so inspirational.
yeah,
Seriously.
absolutely. You got to go for it. You no
Yes.
Yes,
matter what it is. And
whatever it is.
whatever it is. And if it
Mhm.
doesn't work out, it doesn't, but you tried. Because that's something else I always try to tell my kids. The win is taking the action. The win isn't the result because you can't control that.
Mhm.
You can't
Right.
control who's going to read the book, who's going to like the book, who's going to see the book. You can't control any of that.
Right.
No.
All
Right.
you can control is the part that you put the book out, or you applied for the job that you always wanted, or
Mhm.
I don't know, get the divorce you've been thinking about for 15
Mhm.
years. You know what I mean? Like just and it's scary. It's always scary, but you do it
Any of it is.
anyway.
All of it is, yes,
Yeah.
it is, and it is scary, and especially at this age,
Mhm,
when you confide into people about like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, and you're 50 years old.
mhm.
I changed careers, and one of my friends told me, "Are you nuts? You
Yeah.
should be thinking about retirement." And I'm like, "No." I go, "What? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm 52." Like,
Yeah.
so it's like not listening. And again, here we come with the second guessing yourself. Like
Mhm,
you talked
mhm.
about your mom. What are you
Yep.
doing? Why are you doing it? You should be
Yep.
Yes.
doing this instead. And some of that kind of triggers you because
Yeah.
remember when
Yeah,
you were
for
young, because
sure.
yeah, I was like, maybe, I shouldn't, or maybe but no,
Yeah.
I know what's best for me.
Exactly. It's that
Yeah.
listening to your gut, always
Yes.
listening to your gut,
Your
that it
intuition.
knows
Yes.
first, right?
Yeah.
Your body knows first. And
Yeah.
and if it's in your heart, follow it. It may not end up looking the way you think it's going to look, because sometimes we have that whole vision of
Yep.
I'm going to do A, B, and C, and this is
Yes.
exactly what it's going to look like. And it doesn't look anything like that. but you're doing it, and you listened to your gut, and you can
Yes.
always be grateful for that,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And instead of, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you two agree with this, I do not want to be in my 80s and 90s regretting the things
Right.
I didn't
Wishing.
do.
100%.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
100%. And I don't think I really started living until I turned 50
Yeah.
because I stopped being afraid.
Mhm.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
something about getting into your 50s that you get it better. Again, I guess it's the wisdom thing, but
Yeah.
or it's the midlife thing.
It's the time, I
It's
guess.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. You're like, oh, there's not as many years in front of me as there was.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe too, if you're a mom and you're done raising your children, even if they're teenagers, you're at a different stage as a mom too.
Yes.
And you start to realize, wait a minute, where am I in all of this? How do
Yeah.
I fit in this world? And what's mine? What belongs to me? What says me?
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
love
think that's
that.
the blessing for 50. Uh,
Yes.
I'll take it because the physical stuff sometimes is really challenging.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
just the getting out of bed. It's so funny because just the getting out of bed in the morning, some days are just stiff.
Right, exactly. You're
And
like,
my
oh, I didn't know that
mind,
part of your body could hurt. What's that?
yeah,
Yeah. Like, why does my big toe hurt today?
And I've had that a couple
Yes.
of weeks ago. My finger
Yeah.
was hurting. And I told my husband, I think he thinks I'm crazy. I said, my finger hurts. And
I
it was
said
my
the same
little
thing.
finger. And he's
Yep.
like, what's that about? I said, I don't know. I didn't do anything to it. And then as
Arthritis.
soon as it hurt, it was gone.
Menopause.
It's
I
just the
blame
weirdest thing.
everything on
Yeah.
being perimenopausal. Everything.
Yeah.
I have an ache, it's that.
Yeah.
It's that. I don't sleep, it's that.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
I'm
All of it.
bloated.
I'm bloated,
Yeah.
bad hair day, it's all menopause.
All of it. Yes. All
Every
of it
bit
is.
of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
I
That's,
love it.
yeah. The body, I mean, the body and the brain, you know, the brain wants, but the body is just like, eh.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God, I say that all the time. My brain thinks I'm 30,
Yeah.
and my body's
Yeah.
like, yo, slow down. We're not
Yeah.
30. Slow it down, girl.
And your 60-year-old you is going, what are you doing?
Exactly. Like, I need those knees. Could you
Right.
not?
It reminds me of that movie, Death Becomes Her. I don't know if you remember it.
Oh God, I haven't seen that in ages, but yes, with Meryl Streep.
And I always think about that. And I think about it because I started on my overnights experimenting with the scooters. You know, the scooters?
Yeah.
Like you like pay and you drive a scooter through the town. So like when I'm in Tulsa, which is great because there's not a lot of traffic, you know, nobody really is hanging out in the
Nobody
streets of
goes to
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
But it's a beautiful I love Tulsa.
Uh-huh.
And they have these scooters. And one time I'm like, no, I'm like, here I am like 53 or 54. I'm going to be 56 in June. So it's when I
Happy
started out
Yeah,
as a
me
flight
too, about
attendant,
that.
I'm like, I'm going to get out on my overnights. I'm going to learn how to use the scooter. And I'm coming down a hill and I just didn't know how to stop. So I just braked. Well, now I know to slow down and brake slow instead of just brake because I flew off and I
Oh my
fell
God.
in front of people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was thinking, oh, I could really hurt myself. I was coming downhill, and then people are looking at me, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm okay. My ego was bruised more than my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. Well, thank God for that.
Thank God for that. And then
Yeah.
I went back to my room and I'm like, oh, I go, if I would have broken anything, it would have been a lot harder to recover at this age. Because I remember that movie, Death Becomes Her, where you're broken and all of a sudden, like it can't be fixed. So they're walking around with these young faces, but these broken bodies.
Right. Right. Yes.
I don't need that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and were you hurting the next day? Because I just can't even imagine that you weren't hurting the next
I
day.
did. I scraped my knee, but thank God I was okay. I scraped.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God I was okay. But it was more my ego. But I have a
Yeah.
10. And then one other time I wore these new, that's another thing. You can't wear high heels like you used to.
No, it's true. And I'm fighting that one tooth and nail because I'm not tall. I'm only 5'1". So I refuse to give up my heels when I have to be out and the height of normal people. So
Right. And there's
right.
something about heels when you're like clacking along, you
Yeah,
know? You just
exactly.
clack, clack, clack along.
Exactly.
And I bought these like they weren't terribly high. They were just kind of like they were also kind of chunky a little bit. So they had
Yeah.
but anyway, I wore them on an overnight and then here we are waiting for the van the next morning and they're black patent and I'm like, I look so sassy in
They
them.
look good. Yeah.
And I like stepped back and I fell in front of everyone and my legs literally did like this.
Oh no. Oh no. Are you okay?
I was okay, but everyone just kind of looked at me like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
There
I'm
she goes
fine.
again.
I'm fine.
Another old lady.
Exactly. There's that old lady in her heels again.
And I'm blaming menopause. Why do I keep falling down?
Yeah. Yes. Everything is menopause's fault. Everything.
That's right.
I have a fall.
There's your next book.
Yeah, really. No kidding. You know, it's funny. I have a book with a 50+ couple. I do. And you know what? I didn't give her enough menopause problems. I gave her, you know, I was in my 50s when I wrote her.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? She needed to suffer more. Next one. Next 50
one for
plus lady.
sure.
I'll run the bus right over her. Yeah, the menopause bus.
Oh,
The menopause bus. I love it. What's
Oh
wrong?
my
The
God.
menopause bus ran over me.
Yes, yes. I feel like that most days. Yes.
So
Agreed.
funny. Oh my
Very
gosh.
funny. Very funny.
Are you ever, have you ever been in denial? Like, I'm just asking both of you, have you ever been in denial over your like wrinkles or like your face texture? Because like I would be looking like, I'm like, oh, I'm in the vanity looking at my skin, looking at my mirror. And all of a sudden my phone accidentally takes a picture of my face while I'm outside.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. That is like my new normal now. I look in the mirror, and whether I'm looking at my face or I'm looking at my outfit, and I go, oh, that's not so bad.
Right.
And then, yes, somebody takes a photo of me, and I go, ew, is that what I really look like? Why
Look
don't
like,
any of you people tell me not to wear those clothes? Or, what I struggle with the menopause weight gain.
yes.
Oh,
Right. That's like a
Absolutely.
new thing for me. Fitness is probably my favorite hobby. I've I have worked out my whole adult life, and I got it to be 50 and my body went, ha ha, I don't care what you're doing. And I'm like, whose body is this? So
yeah.
yes, I know exactly what you're saying, Debbie. I get a picture and I go, oh, don't let me out of the house, really. Don't let me out of the house.
Mhm.
I
I
just want to
can't
wear my
believe I
big
went out like this.
sweatshirts and my comfy jeans, and that's it.
Mhm.
Love it.
That's it. That is it.
So funny.
You know what else I've noticed? I don't care as much about whether or not I go out with makeup on. Now, again, that was a thing a long time ago. If I had to go run errands or whatever, I would have been full faced on. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, you
Is
know
that
what?
what your mother would tell you though? Because that's
Yeah,
what my mother,
yeah.
Yeah.
you don't go outside. You don't leave without putting makeup on.
Yes,
Yep.
and my
That's
mother
true.
never left without makeup on. So, it's what you watch all
Yes.
the time, right?
Yeah.
It's you mimic what they do more than what they say.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
yes, totally, Gina,
Same.
totally. And
Mhm.
now again, probably I'm 55. I'll be 56 in August. Um, I was probably about 50, and I'm like, you know what? I don't give a crap whether or not I have makeup on. I wear makeup because I want to, for
Yes.
me, not
Mm,
whether or not I'm going to bump into you in the supermarket.
right.
Of course, all ex-boyfriends excluded. You always want to look your best.
Absolutely.
Doesn't
100%.
matter, I've been married 30 years. The guy I
Nope.
went out in high school. If I was ever going to bump into him, I got to look good. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
right.
Look what you missed out on, buddy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So great. I love it.
That's
So
hilarious.
funny. So
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so you've got all these books. Do you have again, you just released the new one. I think I see it behind you. Is that it?
Right there. See,
Bring
glass
it,
making second
bring it
chances.
closer because it's blurry.
Oh, sure.
Bring
You
it
got it.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so viewers can see it.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. This is the one that you've been.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Are you still doing the packages?
Yes, I am doing the book box. We
Okay,
have one coming out April. Yes, it's going to be up for pre-order. It may already be up for pre-order,
Mhm.
but it goes with the April 30th release. I'll show you that cover. Don't mind me looking around the camera. What you don't see is amazing. This is the next one.
Okay.
And
nice.
this is going to be in the next book box. And we have super cute things. I might have a couple left with this one where you get the bracelet. It's a crystal bracelet. So if you're into
Yes.
the energy and vibration,
Yes.
right? So there's one of those in
Yeah.
this box.
Okay,
Some tea, because everything is better with tea. I love
Oh,
tea.
of course.
Tea drinkers. Are you both tea drinkers?
Yeah.
yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I drink tea all day long, really.
Same.
All
Love
day
tea.
long. Love it. So we put tea in it. I'm trying to think of what's in the current box. Isn't that terrible? I've already forgotten. Um,
I love that
That's the,
packaging. I love
Thank
the bracelet. I mean, because I just love all these little gifts in this little box that you have.
well, it makes a great gift, especially for the person who has everything that you never know what to get. So
Yes.
for the box coming up, like I said, it's up for pre-order with the second book in the series in it. It's going to make a great Mother's Day gift. We have an adorable tea bag plate. shaped like a teapot. We have a cookie. It's made from a local bakery here in New Jersey. So
Mhm.
it's going to be fresh. There, it's going to have a summery beach theme. I'm hoping for starfish. We'll see.
Oh,
We
fun.
have, of course, tea bags, honey with a little honey dipper, some yummy salted caramel rice cakes. So there you could guilt free. I love those. I snack on them all the time.
Yes.
A heart, it's a heart shaped stress reliever. So there's that in there. So
Right.
really cute stuff. Every box comes with a coupon for something on the store on my website. So really great gift giving idea, especially like for the mom, the mother-in-law, maybe an aunt, those people you don't
It's
have
like an
breakfast.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because you know what? You deserve time to yourself and you
Yes.
deserve to treat yourself. You've earned that time. That's another thing about being
Mhm.
older
Yes.
that you learn that self-care is important. You get to put yourself
Number
first.
one. Yeah.
So as an author, that's what I give to my readers.
I
I
love
give
that.
you the escape from the real world. I give you your me time.
Mhm.
I do give you that emotional story that you can really get into. And you know what? Tell the world I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm going to
Right.
go read. I'm going to make a cup of tea and I'm
Yeah.
going to go read. And I'll be
Yeah.
back later and you'll all be
Yeah.
talking without me for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or 3 days, whatever it is.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
I think it's such a beautiful thing because when you get a book, and I appreciate getting books from people,
Mhm.
but you get a book and you're like, oh, okay, I gotta read this. And it
Yeah.
goes in your stack of books, right? Because you're
Yeah.
already on these other two books. But
Yes.
if it comes with tea and like this special, you want to immerse yourself. At
Yeah.
least I would. I don't know about anybody else, but I
Well,
would want
that's
to
how I
think,
feel.
well, I'm gonna make tea and I'm gonna sit down with this book right now. And those other
Exactly.
two can wait.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's something that's in your self-care toolbox.
Love
Yeah.
it.
You should have a toolbox full of things that you can, whatever it is for you, like I love music or I go walking outside or I journal, but I always am reading a book. I don't read my own books for pleasure because I'll want to edit it,
Yeah.
but
I'm there with you.
you get that, Gina. You get
You
that.
know,
Yes, yes.
you see all the things.
Exactly. You're like, oh crap. Yeah, so I don't read. Why didn't she say this instead? So
That's right.
yeah, yes, yes. So I
Debbie, you're
other people's
Debbie's
books.
working her way towards that. So
Oh, I hope so, Debbie. Are you gonna write a book? Okay, you're muted. Are you
yeah, you are
you're
muted.
muted? Is that did you
Sorry,
mute?
they were vacuuming back here. I'm like, don't they freaking know I'm on a
My
podcast?
husband was belching over and over and over
My,
again.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I know. I was ready to open this door. I'm like, I'm on.
But they wouldn't be able to
You
hear
know, my
the
show is
vacuuming.
on. Yes, I have started writing a book. There's a couple actually things that the hardest part, and I give you guys a lot of credit, is starting out that first
Yeah.
sentence.
Yes.
And trying not to make it sound like, that 500 word essay and you keep repeating the same
Yeah.
thing that, like,
Mhm. Yes.
so, but I mean, I do have a lot of ideas. I have some outlines. There's a couple of things, like one of them is, and Gina knows, like I had a major shift in 2019, the year that I turned 50, like a
Mhm.
major spiritual awakening,
Mhm.
huge shift. A lot of, that's when I discovered like meditation, Eckhart
Mhm.
Tolle, all these things being present. And I'm
Mhm.
like, man, I was so messed up for the last 49 years.
We're still messed up.
I was
Exactly.
so
The
I
work
was
in
so I was
progress.
so effed up. I had to learn to undo it.
Sure. Yeah, that's
And
work
it,
too.
and everything, like, came like, I'm like, oh my God, all of my past traumas and generational curses and all of this, how I saw the
Mhm.
world. I just became like, such a aha moment. So talking about that and shifting careers, I was in the medical field and then I became a flight attendant at 53, which was like my dream
I
job.
love that. I
Yeah.
love
And
that.
then also,
Awesome.
yes, so that was it. And then I worked frontline COVID at a major hospital. I was
Wow.
actually the supervisor of that department. So
Yeah.
I was like in a big Chicago hospital. So that alone, like if I didn't go through my awakening, I literally thought that to myself, if I didn't have this awakening, I couldn't have run this clinic. It was
Mm.
just such a like such a series of events that happened that had to have happened in order for me to get where I'm at today. So it's just,
Yeah,
so
Okay.
yeah. And then
Okay.
tossed in with a little humor, you know.
You gotta,
absolutely.
right? That's awesome though. Good for you.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah, yeah.
Just do
Yeah.
it.
Just do it.
I
Just
know,
do
I
it.
know. My husband keeps like saying, "He goes, have you written anymore?" I'm like, I got my, you know, and that's what I do on my overnights. I write stuff out in there,
Okay.
and yeah, just
Awesome.
getting creative. But
Yeah.
Awesome. I love
yes,
that. Gina, are you writing any more books or are you done with two?
No, so my books are humor books,
Mm.
and so they're similar to Irma Bombeck style. So
Oh,
they're
fun.
life's mishaps,
Yes.
law scenarios.
Love
And
it.
so the next one will be releasing, we are doing an open submission period so other people can submit their Murphy's Law stories.
Okay,
And so
fun.
the first one will be animal antics, but I have a whole slew of topics because like whether you're a homeowner or a pet owner
Yeah.
or you know you've owned a car at some point, you have had burnt glove boxes, and that's the name
Oh,
of
yeah.
the book. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with that, and I'm also working on a memoir right now. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
gonna just keep on going. I found a love for writing and
Good for
absolutely
you.
love that. And I really hats off to you, Stacey, for being able to write fiction because I think that is just such a gift and a
yes,
skill that not
Thank you.
everybody. I mean, I have a hard time keeping my own life together, much less making up people and their situations.
yes, yes.
I get to be the god of the universe.
That's
So,
right.
I love that. Oh my
right.
gosh. Yeah, and when you read a book that, you know, like fiction, and you're like, oh my God, just the creativity that comes from
Yeah.
that. It's just
And the escape
the
for your readers.
imagination, and I give you a
Hmm.
lot of credit.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I
And,
joke
and
it's insanity, really. It's just there's people talking to me all the time. So to make them quiet, I
Don't
give
tell
them
everybody that
stories.
because it might get you in trouble.
Right. Exactly. If you can't find me, I've been taken away.
Absolutely. So Stacey, where do people find your gift boxes that you talked about? How's the best way if they're interested in doing that or they need a gift for somebody or even for themselves?
Yeah, for themselves, right. Never be afraid to gift
Yeah,
yourself, right?
absolutely.
Yep. So you can find the Epic Book Box on my website, which is staceywilk.com, EY in Stacy, no E in Wilk. And it's right under the store tab. So you just go to the store and you'll see Epic Book Boxes. You can pre-order the one I was just talking about. We have another one that will come out in July. I think we have a June, a July coming. October and Christmas. So
Love it.
we do keep, you'll see which books will be in each box, but we keep the items a secret until we let you know what's in the box. But you can do a subscription if you want to do 3 boxes up front. You get to choose which months you want, and then you get a little bit of a discount. So
Very
if anybody has
cool.
questions, they can always reach out in the contact form if they're not sure. We get back
Yeah.
to you right away. So
Mhm.
really
Very
cool.
cool.
It's
And
cool.
congratulations on all the successes with this. And
Thank you.
it's not easy, like you said. But you know what? If you're passionate about it, love what you're doing,
Yeah.
that's the huge thing that I found with writing
Yeah.
after I turned 50 is
Mhm.
I found my purpose in life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and to be able to share joy with other people and
Yes.
it's the way we change the world in all our unique
Yes.
ways. So
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I have been blessed to have people reach out to me and say things like, I read your book during chemo and it,
Mhm.
kept me going, or, um, whatever it is that, I touched them in some way, or I inspired them because my character did something in
Aw,
my book that they related to, and now they said, now I feel like I can go do that. So to me, it is a blessing beyond blessings that people trust me with their free time, that they allow me to entertain them when there are a million other things they could
so
be
many
doing
things.
with their free
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing to be able to do that for people. That's what books do for me. They're
Yes.
my escape. They touch me in different ways, especially the self-help books and the list of self-help books. Um,
Yes.
and then even the fiction books that allow me to, step out of reality for a little
Yes.
while, right? Because you need that, because real life can be daunting in moments.
Yes.
And so I wanted to be able to do that in return. And I just always wrote stories. I mean, I'm not even joking. My longer bio talks about I wrote rock star romances in high school biology instead of paying attention. So true. I failed the fourth marking period because I was so busy writing about being on tour with rock stars and
Ah,
love
love it.
relation. I was 14 years old. Who cared about biology?
Right.
I had to write these stories
You have
down.
more important things to do.
Exactly. Way more important. I haven't had a biology class since. That was 1984, I think.
You're getting your biology class now, being in menopause.
Yeah, really. Now I need a biology. Now, wait, I feel like I've taken a biology class. I
Yes.
know
You could teach a
everything about
you could
menopause.
teach a biology class now.
Yes, yes. I have turned into like the mini menopause expert. Even my daughter said to me, "Do you talk about anything else?" I'm like, "No, and it's
Nope.
coming for you someday. So get ready." Now, and it was funny because one of the questions you guys had on your sheet was about like, did you have a mom or a female role model who talked to you about menopause? No, right? No. Only thing I knew was from my mother was you were going to get hot flashes and you're not going to get your period anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, right, but I mean that's
Yeah,
nothing. That's this much of it,
that's right. That's the
right?
surface, just practically. And we were talking about that. Gina and I think we've had other episodes that we talked about,
Mhm.
and one of them was what our mothers never told us.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
and that's the other thing, like women are taught to kind of like toughen it out a lot, like even
Yeah.
during childbirth. When women like you do whatever you want during childbirth, okay?
Right.
Give me the epidural. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
I don't know. I want, give me as many drugs as possible.
Sure.
But that's, everybody has their preference. But that's the other thing. It's the suffering that women
Yeah.
are used. We definitely suffer through more things.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, they don't take
Um,
us seriously, I think, seems
yes,
to be.
Yes.
And it's funny because even going all the way back to labor and not being taken seriously, because I know now at this stage, everybody, if not everybody, but women will go to their doctor and their doctor's like, ah, that's, that there she is, that crazy woman. But even in delivery. So my son, who's my oldest, he came lickety split. Thank the good Lord, but he came lickety split 2 weeks early. And honestly, I had no idea. Like my water broke and I walked myself into the hospital. And maybe 5 minutes later, I was in so much pain. I'm not kidding. 5 minutes after being in the hospital, I thought there's no possible way this could be normal to go from zero to
yes,
this that fast. I told my husband, go get somebody. Something must be wrong. No,
yeah,
nothing was wrong. It was time.
Yeah.
So I wanted the epidural, no time for the epidural. So
yeah,
Mhm.
when my daughter was born and my water broke, I hightailed it out of there. I didn't wait for my doctor to call me back. I'm like, I want the drugs. So I get to the hospital and I say to the nurse, look, I do this fast. So whatever you got to do to
right,
make me get the drugs, do it because I want the drugs. Well,
yes,
she didn't pay any attention to me. Oh, we
Mhm.
got to wait for the blood test. Blah, blah, blah. You know what? Wrong. Who delivered fast? So when I had to push and she was like, oh, let me check. And her eyes got this big. I told you I do this fast. But they don't pay attention to you. They
no,
think you're full
no,
of it.
no. And coming from the medical field, let me tell you, I tell people now, you know,
Yeah.
advocate for yourselves. And that's another thing too. You know your body.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know your body.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wish to, being in medicine for 33 years was like, you really need to listen to people. They know their body. They're not crazy. Of course they do.
Right.
Everybody's so different, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you know your body and
That's so
Yeah.
important though. And that's important again for women because
Yeah.
we do tend to get overlooked. They don't
Yes.
pay attention. They think we're overreacting,
Yep.
we're being emotional.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, when I found out that they didn't even have women in health studies until the 1980s, I was floored.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing? I know, isn't that
Isn't that
crazy?
amazing?
Yeah.
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 I'm like, oh my God,
And
that's my
sad.
lifetime,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
We're learning more and more, and I think Debbie and I have talked about this too, that we're in a revolutionary period
Yep.
for women
Yes.
with
Yes.
in regards to menopause and a lot of other things. But we just watched that special. I don't know if you saw it, but it was Oprah Winfrey, and
Oprah
she
Winfrey.
had
Yes,
a
I saw it.
special. It was
Yes.
amazing. But
Right?
I told Debbie I saw the news thing on TV where Halle Berry was talking about her pain with intercourse. And
Mhm.
when she said it, I'm like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it. I've been
Yeah.
trying to tell my doctors, I've been trying to tell people, and they're like
Yes.
sitting there with this blank stare on their face, like they just saw a ghost or something.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know what
Um,
you're saying to them.
No,
mhm.
Yeah.
no. And
Yes.
when I came to a time when I was in menopause, it was 1 year. I waited the 1 year
Yeah.
and I said, I want my hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my doctor was like, well, I go, no, I
Good
want my
for you.
hormones.
Good for
I
you.
go,
Mhm.
why is it a struggle for women in menopause to get them? I go, there are other people that can get their hormones, no problem. But I'm just saying is that I want my freaking hormones. I
Yeah.
know what I want.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances. Like
Right.
I'd rather have my quality of life.
Yes.
Because I
Mhm.
saw my mom decline severely after menopause. She
Mhm.
had severe within, I want to say within 10 years, my mother had
Yeah.
severe osteoporosis, psoriatic arthritis, fibromyalgia, starting
Wow.
dementia, hip fracture, and knee replacement.
All
Yes,
of them.
yes, yes. Because now that we know estrogen
Yes,
is in every part of your
every
body,
part of your body.
right?
Yes.
Every part of your body. That book, The New Menopause,
Yes.
I read it. I read it in the fall
Yeah.
because I had heard Dr. Mary Claire Haver on a podcast
Hmm.
and instantly started following her because when
Yes.
Yeah.
she was saying all these things on the podcast, and you're like, you said, Gina, oh my God, that's it.
Yes.
That makes so much sense to me
Yes.
Yeah.
because of all these weird things that go
Mhm.
on in your body
Yes.
that you didn't know were menopause.
That you're
And
not connecting with, well, this isn't a hot flash.
Right.
What is
right,
Right.
happening?
Or the frozen
exactly.
shoulder. The frozen shoulder.
Right, the
Oh, I
frozen
had it in both
shoulder.
shoulders.
Yes, I would
Which,
be doing something and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and it's gone. Since I've been on my HRTs, no more frozen shoulder. But
Yeah.
I just could not figure out. I'm like, oh my God, did I do something? Is my
Mhm.
rotator
Going
cuff?
back.
Like I couldn't understand why I would be doing something. All of a sudden I had this sharp, agonizing pain. And it
Yeah.
was just, I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, like who
Yep.
would have thought that?
But you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
No.
And then you go to the doctor and they give you something for the shoulder, but then your cholesterol goes up and they give you something for cholesterol
Yeah.
and your blood pressure goes up and then the osteoporosis and the
Yes.
Yeah.
dry every part of your body
Yes.
and it's like, doesn't it make sense to treat the lack of estrogen
The core part.
than all the things that are going
Yes.
wrong with your body
Yes.
separately?
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. Go
yes.
ahead.
No, no, no. Yeah, no, you're right though, because like it was like immediately the cholesterol went up, sugar went up, and all this stuff. Now
All
they
of it.
wanted to put me on antidepressants. They wanted to put me on
Mhm.
this, and this. I'm like,
Yeah.
as soon as I started taking the HRTs, everything leveled out again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything
Yes.
kind of like, okay, I still am achy. Okay, I get it. It's arthritis, whatever, but I'm not suffering like I
Right.
did
Right.
before.
Exactly. That's
Right.
really the key is the not suffering.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
why do we have to suffer for the
Yes.
last third of our lives?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Because some study came out some odd years ago that was misinformation, or they
Yes.
didn't, tell you the whole story of the
Right.
study. And
Right.
now, ooh, HRT is bad for you.
Right.
Now, maybe not every woman can take it, but every woman should be able to have a conversation with her
Yes.
doctor who pays attention to what she's saying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or at least if you can't take all of it, there are still other options. And
Yes.
I've had a few of my coworkers that, we sit on the jump seat and we
Mhm.
talk. And then
Yeah.
I've had several women my age. One,
Mhm.
she just texted me the other day. I gave her the new menopause, the book. She goes,
Yeah.
Debbie, she was 57. She's 57. She's no one ever talked to me about this. And she
Yeah.
just texted me, I want to thank you. You saved
Mm.
my life. No one ever
Aw.
had the conversation about
Yeah.
menopause with me. And she
Yeah.
says, I'm feeling so much better.
Mm.
My husband and I, we have
It
relations
is
again.
life-saving.
It's
It is.
life-saving.
Truly is.
And she
Yes.
said,
Yes.
that's what she said. I've had a couple of text messages because we're having the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And the
Yes.
conversation where, she's like, she told me, she goes, now I'm talking to my sister
Mhm.
and blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. And instead of getting like
Spreading like
sometimes,
ripple effects.
for me,
Mhm.
It's spreading like ripple
it is
effects.
spreading like, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
then, or you get some people, like I'll have the conversation with women, and they'll
Mm.
say, aren't you afraid of cancer? I said, no. I said, do your research here, read this, read
Yes.
that, make up your
Yes.
mind. But I'm just telling you, you don't have to suffer.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You
Exactly.
can't,
Because
yeah.
I've had that same conversation where
Yeah.
they're worried about breast cancer.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, first of all, that was information taken from a study done on women over 65. It's
Mhm.
like you don't have all the facts.
Right.
Go read about it here. Like you said,
Yeah.
Debbie, here, go read this so
Right.
you can have a conversation. Maybe you're not a candidate for HRT,
Right.
but I think more women are than they
Yes.
believed
Yes.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
there are other things you can do. Like, I mean, you do have to have your fitness in check. You do have to have
Mhm.
your nutrition in check. You
Mhm.
do have to have a nighttime routine so that you can put everything in place so you can
Right.
sleep the best you can. Like, you have to be doing all of that too.
Right.
Right.
But the HRT is going to come in and, like you said, level things out. So,
Yes.
right, like maybe your brain fog goes away so that you can
Oh, yes.
recall words,
Mhm.
yes, and yeah, it's such an important conversation. And I want to say, who's doing that? The Gen X women, right? So we might have effed it up as parents, but we are
Doing
loud,
something right.
right?
That's
Exactly. We
right.
did something right.
We're making ourselves useful.
Exactly. But leave it to the Gen X women, right? Who were like,
Yeah.
F this business.
Yeah.
We're
We
done.
are
Oh,
the
yes.
latchkey kids. We are changing the world.
We are.
Yeah,
Absolutely, we are changing the world. They're like,
Latchkeys unite.
that's
let's
right, baby.
unite. Yeah. And you tell women too. I'm like, you're gonna get here one day. And like Halle
Yes.
Berry said, I thought I was gonna skip it. I thought I was gonna skip it too. I
Yeah,
really
me
did.
too. Me too. I thought I was going to skip it. I'm like, I don't even know. I probably wasn't quite 40 yet. And I heard this woman talking, and she was like, the minute I turned 43, all these things started
Mhm.
happening to me. And this
Yes.
is me in my head. Oh, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And other things they don't tell you,
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. All the things. Now just talk about all of it, right? Just say it, right? Just like,
All of it.
all of it. Talk about all of it. Like, and that too, like we shouldn't be afraid to say the word vagina. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
heck no. Yeah.
right, exactly. Like you hear people like, I was told that's not proper dinner conversation, by the way, that I shouldn't say the word vagina. I'm like, why? You have one, don't you? Like, what is wrong with saying vagina? It's the biological term. I didn't call it something else, right?
There are
So,
songs out
You know your
there that are being
biology.
played out loud in the car or wherever that have more
right, those
vulgar
are words I
terms for
use.
that than vagina.
Exactly. I don't use those words. I use the real word. You know
I
what
think
I
Right.
we
mean?
should make a
So,
menopause rap song.
Oh,
yes.
get on that, Debbie.
Yes, let's write a menopause rap
We'll sing
song.
with you.
Yes, let's do it, ladies.
I think that would be so much fun to
Oh,
write.
how
Like,
fun.
I mean, leave it to Gen X to come up with something, quirky, funny,
Yes.
and like make, discuss like our
Yes.
current situation. I think a menopause rap song would be,
I,
Fantastic.
I think we should do it for sure.
Now you got her thinking, Stacey.
Yeah,
She'll
my
be up all
wheels are
night.
rolling.
My wheels are rolling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I was
that's
telling Gina the other day too, there's other bodily functions that happen too when
Yeah.
you get to your age that you just can't help.
No, you're absolutely
You
right.
get a
You're-
little gassy.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying.
I know.
I just want to leave this world with my dignity. That's all I ask.
Absolutely.
I just want to leave this
Absolutely.
world with my dignity.
And that we will do, ladies.
Yes, we will. We will. Absolutely.
Aw.
funny.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show tonight, Stacey. This was like so much fun, and
Yeah.
your second career as a comedian, you're hilarious. Absolutely love you.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, we will definitely post Stacey's information
Mhm.
on our we'll have this on Facebook, of course, but we'll also have this on YouTube and Spotify, and so you can find her information if you're interested in picking up her book or one of her book packages or several of them, which I'm sure she'd appreciate it, and you would love reading the series. Please go on and check out her stuff.
Yes.
Thanks, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. An absolute blast. Keep me posted with your writing. I want to hear all about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Will do.
For sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stacey, so much. It's been fun.
Been a lot